Changing minds one thought at a time.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Changing Minds Online special series, Unlocking Your Code, with the amazing Lisa De Mayo. Tonight we are going to welcome a special guest on our call. Lisa De Mayo has been a network marketing millionaire and coach for a number of years. She's helped thousands and thousands of people to truly transform their life, to get healthy and live into the most ideal states and their ideal bodies. She's recently partnered with Integrated Genetic Solutions to help even more people experience life in their ideal body and true health. It's been an amazing experience so far to do this podcast. We've had such great results. I myself have had my experience now. I had my blood work done with IGS. I can't wait to get the results. And I'm even more excited to get on the call tonight and learn even more about what this looks like and what this process is. For those of you tuning in for the first time, Lisa's going to talk a little bit about what IGS, Integrated Genetic Solutions, is, and we're going to hear from one of our amazing doctors. So, Lisa, welcome to the call today.
Thank you, Jess. I'm excited that you had your blood drawn, too, and that you're waiting for your results. And, you know, I'm like you. I'm always excited to do these podcasts because I learn so much from the doctors. I'm, of course, not a medical doctor, and am fascinated by my own body. And, you know, when I first heard about IGS a year and a half ago, I didn't realize how bad I felt. I was just kind of accepting that, oh, it's another year and I've been through a lot of stress and this is normal. And, you know, I just love this saying, you don't realize how bad you feel until you feel good. And in this day and age, my favorite quote, ignorance is a choice. With what we have available to us through technology, and there's just so much in our virtual world. There's information overload everywhere. And yet people are still blind to the fact that they could know so much about their bodies, their gene expression, their body chemistry. And your gene expression is your DNA, is truly your roadmap. So why wouldn't I want to learn about this? Why wouldn't I want to know about this? And I've been on incredible nutritional products for a very long time, and I was feeling amazing, and then life really hit me upside the head, and I wasn't feeling right. And I was starting to doubt, you know, are these products still working for me? What's wrong with me? And realizing that my hormones were way out of balance and that my body chemistry was not what it was a year ago. And I learned so much, and it's really due to this program. But what continues to keep me in awe is the caliber of people that we have getting on board with us. And our medical advisory board is just the best of the best, and in my opinion, some of the most brilliant minds. And I get to converse with these people and just learn and absorb constantly. And between the program, the IGS software program, and the doctors who have their own hands-on approach, we're truly finding things about ourselves that I never thought I'd ever know. And tonight I'd love to introduce a person who is just near and dear to me for so many reasons. She is on our medical advisory board. Her name is Dr. Nicole Kafka, and she is a doubly board certified surgeon with advanced training in aesthetics and anti-aging medicine. She is a fellow of the American College of Surgeons and a member of the American Association for Anti-Aging Medicine and the International Association for Physicians in Aesthetic Medicine, as well as a past president of the Women's Medical Association of New York City. Nicole Kafka has numerous publications in peer-reviewed scientific journals and serves on the advisory boards of international companies. She is a noted public speaker. Some of you may already know who she is, and she's been interviewed on major TV shows. I've watched Nicole's videos. I share them all the time. She's an honors graduate of Harvard College with her MD from Cornell Medical School, and she's been in practice in New York City since 1998. She's a native New Yorker, and here's what I really love about Nicole. So I read all the accolades about Dr. Nicole Kafka and her degrees and her background, but she's one of the most down-to-earth people you will ever meet. And, I go to see her in her practice, and one of the things I just find fascinating, in her spare time, she has a second career as an actor and a singer, and she's just incredible. So well-rounded, down-to-earth, friendly, and, that's what we want. That's the kind of doctor that we want, that bedside manner where you have the brilliant mind, but you have the doctor that you can tell all your stuff to, too. So, Dr. Kafka, welcome to the call tonight.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome. So, there's just so much about your career. And I understand that you practiced in the area of anti-aging and cosmetic medicine. People don't even know what that means. Can you explain to us what they don't? What is anti-aging?
Yeah.
I think we automatically think fillers and Botox, and it's that with so much more. What is anti-aging?
Well, we age on the inside and we also age on the outside. So certainly the cosmetic side includes Botox, fillers, microdermabrasion, chemical peels, laser treatments, radio frequency, all kinds of energy modalities that improve the texture and appearance of your skin, restore the facial shape that we had when we were younger before gravity and loss of collagen had their way with us, and get rid of wrinkles and changes in the face that make us look older, angrier, tired, or sadder, all the kinds of things that can happen. And even in young people, there are sometimes things that are not ideal and that we can address in a non-operative, very tolerable way. The other part, though, is the question of aging from the inside. And sometimes we know that that's going on. You can see it in how your face looks, your body looks, your skin looks, and you can feel it to some extent in terms of your energy, your strength, your passion, your libido, etc. And in other ways, we're not really even aware of our body aging until maybe it reaches a certain point, and then suddenly we don't feel as well, or we realize we're not able to do what we used to do. And those issues are things that can be dealt with based on nutrition, exercise, and optimizing the metabolism of the body, and even modifying some of the changes that occur as our cells get older. So decreasing the actual aging of our cells on a molecular basis, and helping all of our body processes to work their best and get us really into the best balance. So as you said, both with the nutritional products that you use and with the IGS program, you feel younger. And it's not just the way that you feel, it's actually what's going on in your body. If you thought about it as a mechanical object, a car or something, it would be about how the gears work and how the fluids flow, and except that the human body is much more complicated than a car or a other mechanical device. So
what I love,
we address all of that.
And what I love for me, I didn't get on the program because I wanted to look better. I wanted to feel better. And after a couple of months, what I noticed first was my mental acuity improving. And I was constantly walking into a room going, why did I walk in here again? And then kept saying, what's wrong with me? I'm so tired. And I am on incredible products, and they were working beautifully, and I didn't have any of these feelings. And then when I went through the program and, saw how out of whack my body is, what I kept telling all my friends and why I started shouting this from the rooftop and I'm out there speaking about it is, my goodness, if you don't know what's going on inside, we just keep working on the outside. We're struggling on the outside. We think we're going to get the best exercise program, or we're going to get the best cosmetics, and that change in your inside has just such an effect. And people are saying that your skin is actually glowing, your hair looks amazing. Why is that? And how does ITS fit into your practice now?
Well, okay, so those are two sort of different questions. The reason that to feel tired when the processes aren't going well, and that we not only start to feel better and function better and think better, but have better hair growth and nails and better appearing skin when we fix those problems, is that our bodies are very complicated, and each of our cells has the same genetic information, but different cells use that in different ways to do different things. And to respond to the stressors in our lives and our environment, whether that's, emotional stressors, things going on in our lives, family members being ill, divorces, financial stresses, whatever, or whether that's physical stressors related to foods, medications, toxins, nutritional issues, and again, that it may also be related to basic things about our biology, because we all are fundamentally similar and human beings, etc., but we also all are individuals, and we each have genetic variations that affect how we metabolize nutrients, how our bodies take advantage of exercise or don't, or what kind of exercise is better for us and what kind of food is better for us, and so forth. And so in terms of IGS, what we do is we draw blood and obtain urine specimens and sometimes saliva. And we look at that for a whole lot of things. We look at the salt balance, the mineral balance in the body, the vitamin levels. We look at hormone levels. And we look at a wide variety of genes where people can have either the normal function of the gene, or they can have an altered, mutated gene that affects how they metabolize, how they use particular nutrients or exercise, et cetera, as I was just mentioning. A very sort of more easily, I shouldn't say very simple, but a more easily explained version of that, for example, is there's a gene called the MTHFR gene, which stands for methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase, which is a big mouthful. But what it means is that the gene tells the cell how to make an enzyme, and an enzyme is something that has an action. And the action of this enzyme is that it adds what's called a methyl group to certain vitamins, specifically a B vitamin, folic acid. And the body can't use the folic acid for the many, many processes that it's involved in until it has been methylated. Well, if you have modified or mutated genes, then you can't make the normal protein enzyme to methylate your folate, then a whole lot of body systems go out of whack. It can be associated with fatigue, depression, blood vessel diseases, miscarriages, a whole lot of things. And so we can look, and that's just one example, at whether somebody has, in this case, abnormalities in this gene, in which case they need vitamins that are specifically have already been modified in the way that the person's body can't do it. So then they can do all the things with the methylated folate that everybody else can do. There are other genes that we look at that affect how we metabolize lots of other things. And we take all the information from the genetic tests, from the hormones, from the blood cell counts, from the salts and all minerals and all this stuff. And based on that, we want to fix what's not the best that it can be. Complicated, though. We're talking about 20, 30, 40 test results, and we're talking about many, many potential treatments for those. And all of the systems and all of the treatments that we can use interact with each other. So it's very, very complicated. And it used to be that the only way to figure it out was that the doctor would sit there for hours and hours figuring it out, and generally they would give sort of an average dose of what they wanted to use to treat people with. What IGS software allows us to do is to have a computer which can very rapidly calculate all of these interactions. And so the software can take into account all of these lab results, all of this information about you that's completely individual to you, along with your sex, your weight, your age, and give a recommendation for how to treat. Now, that doesn't mean that this is just a computerized program, because then the doctor has to say, well, okay, that's great, but what does that mean in this person who has certain whatever other medical situations? Do you have high blood pressure? Do you have a blood clotting problem, et cetera, et cetera? What medications are you already on, and how will those interact with the program that's being suggested? And so then the doctor takes all that into account and modifies the program for you. So I see patients in my office. I spend a lot of time talking with them, examining them, getting these results, and we come up with a program based on all of what I just said, plus what the patient's preference is. Do you want to just do this with supplements and vitamins? We can do that. It may take a little bit longer, but we don't have to use any kinds of hormones or pharmaceuticals. On the other hand, for some people, it may be better, it may be faster to use some hormone therapy and even maybe some pharmaceutical agents. And that's an option, and all of that gets discussed. So then whatever the program is, the individual follows that program for 3 months. The blood tests, not the genetic ones, which don't change, but the other ones are repeated, and the program is adjusted. And the reason that the program always has to be adjusted is not that it was wrong the first time, but that your body actually changes as a result of the program. Your gene expression changes, what your body makes, how it works, how the systems work change. And so over time, you actually get back into sync, and you tend to need less supplements and medications than you did when you first started on the program. We also address sleep. So we use completely natural group of agents to help sleep. And lack of sleep is a huge problem in the population, and lack of good sleep. And it's been associated with the brain fog that you were talking about, Lisa, but also with heart disease and various other health risks, and with risk of premature death. So we want to get people sleeping well for 7 or 8 hours, ideally a night. We want to replace what they aren't getting from their environment and their food. And we want to gradually lead each person's body to the best functioning system that it can be, with all that means about how you feel, how you look, how you think, how you work, how you interact with the people you care about, how you function in your work life, your hobbies, your athletic activities. Everything is all related to that, and really makes a huge, huge difference in people's lives. IGS, I also am really fond of, because they really keep up with what's going on in science, and everything is based on really good science, and we keep updating as more, science comes out to be able to do even a better job.
And what I think is so fascinating is how many of us have these mutations and are completely unaware. So for the listeners, they may be thinking, oh, well, I was never told anything in my life by any of my doctors that I ever saw. But that doesn't mean that you're exempt from everything that Dr. Kafka just spoke about, because I'm one of those people. And when I got back my report, it's so common, and we're so unaware of that. So knowing that our body may be incapable of producing certain hormones or metabolizing certain drugs, or that we're deficient in one area and we have a challenge processing something, wouldn't we want to know that information? And we talk about unlocking the code, and that's what this does. It gives us an opportunity to look into the body and say, okay, this is not your fault. And I think
no, of course that's it's not your fault.
Right, but you know. Yeah, and as women, I hear constantly, I do everything. I'm eating right. I'm on my nutritional program. I'm exercising. I don't know why I can't lose the weight. And I wouldn't say It's not your fault. Do you understand what's going on in your body? And I think that's what you just so beautifully explained to all of us, is that by understanding your gene expression, you have a roadmap to get to your goal with optimal health, and to feel that level of to feel what optimal feels like.
Absolutely. And the other thing is that you can even prevent problems down the road. So even if you're feeling well, especially if you're relatively young, I was saying that in this particular example that I gave about MTHFR, that this can be associated with bad blood vessel disease. Well, that takes many, many, many years to develop. But if you can know as a younger person that this is going on with you and you can bypass that problem, you can actually prevent development of a disease and avoid a lot of pain and potentially surgical operations and all kinds of things. And so that's what we're trying to do in numerous areas, to get you feeling your best and functioning your best, so that even the things that you don't feel necessarily are working to make you healthy and your best. And we're not just trying to get you in the normal range. And this is something that's important. When you go to a doctor most of the time and they do tests, they're just looking to see if you're in the normal range. Well, the normal range is defined as what's there for 95% of the population. Only the 5% outliers are considered abnormal. Just because you're in the normal range, well, that's a lot better than being abnormal, but it doesn't mean that you're in your best place. And so in collaboration with this IGS program, we as physicians get to help each individual into the best place they can be in terms of all these different hormones and metabolic functions, which is really different. It's different to be kind of okay in the normal range than it is to be wonderful. It's different from, in the same way that, some people, like most of us can walk, unless we're very unfortunate, but some people, win marathons. There's a difference between being in great shape and being okay. And the goal here really is to help people to be in great shape, the best that they possibly can, the healthiest that they can be, and feel their best and function their best and look their best for the longest possible time.
Yes, and you don't realize, and like I said at the beginning of the call, you don't realize how bad you're feeling until you feel good, or at this point, great. And, it's interesting. Halfway through the program, I travel so much. I speak all over the world. I was getting on a plane, and one of the pharma-grade nutraceuticals I was on required refrigeration. And I didn't want to deal with packing it in a cooler and getting on a plane, so I just stopped my I want to call it medication. I stopped my meds for about a week and a half. And I remember saying, oh my gosh, like there's something really wrong with me. And it didn't dawn on me that I was going to have this reaction so quickly. But I really started to go back to feeling, I thought I was feeling worse. That was what was so interesting. I said, oh my gosh, this is like the worst I've ever felt. And I remember the creator of the software saying to me, Lisa, this is how you felt in the beginning. You just were so used to it. You compensated so much with stimulants and all the things that we use to get us through the day. And I really didn't even realize how quickly I was starting to break down as a result of my body just being completely out of whack. And now the products that the products that I've been on for almost the last 5 years work beautifully. Like they work, of course, they've always worked, but my body wasn't working, and that's the brilliance. And to take a software program where Dr. Kafka, you just said, the doctors are looking at as long as you're in normal range, they say, okay, you're okay, but to have an algorithm that can compute 30 to 40 to 50 hours of work that a doctor has to do in 30 minutes to spit out all the info that you need about a personalized protocol, it, to me, is ingenious. It's mind-boggling that people would say, "Oh no, I'm not interested," or or I can't afford that when we're a society at 50 years old, or then in their 40s, are taking a pill for an erection. Women are taking Xanax by the bottle to go to sleep at night. Like, this is not normal. Getting your body in normal range at this point with this much information isn't normal. It's about being optimal, and I think that's exactly what you're speaking to.
Yeah, it's a very, very personalized system, and that's the other thing that I like. We really, you're not just getting a pill that's the average dose for the average person. This is entirely personalized. We use a compounding pharmacy, and they literally weigh out exactly to what I want you to get, and put it all together for you and deliver it to you at home. So you've got your own personal pill, Lisa's pill.
I love it, because I don't want to have, Jessica's pill. I want my own. Now, I know we're wrapping up, and I just want to know, I know that this wasn't the beginning of your career, that you are a board-certified surgeon. You did have another practice. Why did you make the transfer, the transition, and what did you do prior to this?
I was a colon and rectal surgeon for many, many years. I did lab research in cell and molecular biology of colon and rectal cancer at one point, and in digestive physiology. And what happened was that I was taking care of all kinds of people who had problems, some of which were potentially preventable. And I got really tired of trying to patch things up after the fact, and I got more and more interested in what is it that causes these problems. So I did a paper with some other people in the American Society of Colon and Rectal Surgeons looking at what are the nutritional and other treatments or preventatives for colon and rectal cancer. What impact, what makes it more likely for you to get it, and what makes it less likely for you to get it. And I sort of segued from that into getting very involved in nutrition and working with nutritional companies, and then further into this kind of functional medicine and optimization of health rather than, so I sort of grew toward wanting to help people be healthy rather than fixing problems, which doesn't mean that, people won't need problems fixed. I mean, we're not, we can't prevent all diseases. People are going to need to have problems fixed. They're going to need medications for some things. They're going to need operations for some things. But ideally, I like to think that as we progress in this area, we're going to have people being a lot healthier, having fewer advanced medical issues, and being in better shape to handle what they do get.
I love it. Dr. Kafka, thank you for all this incredible information. If a patient is looking you up and they want to find you, would you please give us your website address as well as your phone number?
Sure. My practice is Kafka Care Medical. It's at 145 West 96th Street in Manhattan. The phone number is 212-688-2100. And the website is www.kafkacare.com. That's spelled K like kangaroo, A like apple, F like Frank, K like kangaroo, A like apple, care.com.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. And please, if you're interested, please go see Dr. Nicole Kafka. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you.